What's the best way to find my spirit guides, aka higher self, and to better attune my intuition? Great question. It's really a lot simpler than you think. You know, when you're in those moments and you're talking to somebody and they say something that you don't like, and this is somebody that you cross swords with often, like you're always in a debate energy with this person. So when they disagree with you, it's particularly triggering because there's a history there. There's a whole rapport and past of argument, a history of argument. In that moment, when you find yourself triggered because your opinion or idea or statement has been challenged, in that moment, take a step back and ask yourself what is triggering you and whether or not this is really worth your time and energy. That would be your higher self pulling you back, just being like, hey, let's take a step back. Let's think about this. Will you play that guitar? I'm not good at guitar. I'm still learning how to play guitar. I've been learning for like the last year, just not consistently enough. I did catch COVID and I caught it early. I caught it in early December before it was a thing because I was in San Diego, December 2019. I was living in a hostel, a traveler's house, and a bunch of us got it together. And one girl ended up going to the hospital, but we didn't know what it was yet. There was no talk of COVID yet, but we all got these terrible coughs. Like we were all possessed by coughing collectively for like 2 weeks in the whole house. Tell us about your PhD. It sounds interesting. PhD is about how Palestinian artists today being dispersed all over the world and displaced and are still continually being displaced, how they use music to reinscribe their identity as Palestinians and challenge Israeli hegemony and aggression and the attempted erasure of their culture, nation, language, etc. I'm writing about how they use music to re-articulate and reinscribe those identities. How they use specifically rap and hip-hop, so particularly African-American music. What can I expect from a tarot reading with you? A symbolic smack across the face, but a soothing one, a nice one. How is Islam based on agnosticism? Lots of the stories are taken from Gnostic stories, are echoes of Gnostic stories, but also of Jewish Apocrypha and Christian Apocrypha. Would you consider Apocrypha folklore? I would consider the Bible folklore. The Apocrypha is like the fan fiction. What makes you not want to be a Muslim? The God of Abraham and I have beef. He wouldn't let me join if I wanted. It's too late for me. It's too late. What's your ethnicity? What's your ethnicity? Why is Babylon so famous historically? Because it was one of the greatest kingdoms on earth. It's like one of the largest and earliest. Babylon. I am from this here earth, my dear friends. Are you a feminist? What is a feminist? Do you believe in Jesus? What do you mean? Share your favorite book with us. I don't know if I could pick one favorite, but in my top 3, there's definitely 1984 by George Orwell. There's To Kill a Mockingbird. 1984, Gibran's The Prophet, To Kill a Mockingbird. And right now, I am reading The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. Oof, Grapes of Wrath is really good. Of Mice and Men. Things Fall Apart, Chinua Achebe. I'm probably saying the name wrong. Do you do medical readings? No, I am not a doctor. Do you do ancestry? No. No. I am not a scientist. My roommates both left today. So I have the house to myself for 2 whole days. Oh, mother. Waiting for you, Sylvia. Oof. Lovely. Shit, let's put this down for a second. Let's eat. Voila. A nice all-American burger. Yes? Let's do this. Ooh, mama. Mm-hmm. Why did I think you were vegan? Someone said. Probably because most people in the spiritual space, or lots of people in the spiritual space, are vegan. So lots of people associate the two, even though they're not related. Mm-hmm. It's actually delicious. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of Alf Layla or Layla? Of course. I am obsessed with 1001 Nights. That's actually in my top 3 books of all time. Thank you for reminding me. Alf Layla or Layla, or The Arabian Nights, or The 1001 Nights. That is a great read. This is so good. I was so hungry. I haven't eaten yet today. You know what we also got? A more vegan-friendly side dish. Is anybody here in Canada and know what this is? I'm pretty sure this doesn't exist in the US. Or maybe it does. I could be wrong. Minnesota is basically Canada, but what we need right now is a piece of land somewhere in the US, somewhere cheap, where you guys can start setting up our house. Maybe we could makeshift build, a home, like a community home, with a nice piece of land where we could grow our food. Now, I can't come to the US quite yet, but you guys can get it ready in the meantime. It is a good song. This is a good playlist. It's a public playlist if you guys want to listen to it on your own. It's called Make Better Days, and it's made by me. And I'm still adding songs to it. It's fairly new. I am Finnish. That poutine is heavy. Whew. What if we start a cult? What do we need a cult for? Let's just, we have a community. What we really need to start is a commune. The 333 troll is back. Where? Can you yell at me in your native language? So we know Noah, right? We know that God was angry, as always, because Yahweh is always pissed about something. He always needs an excuse to destroy the world. So Yahweh was pissed because people were sinful and they weren't doing what he wanted. Control freak much? And so he was like, let me pick this man out and tell him about this flood, because I'm about to flood the earth because I'm done with these people. They're disgusting. He sends an angel to Noah and he's like, listen, God is disgusted and he is about to barf floods of water onto the entire world. So if you want to be safe, he says you should build a boat. So Noah's like, all right, let's do it. And then Noah builds the boat and everybody's laughing at him because why would you build a boat? And then eventually the flood comes and voila. Did you know that Noah was not the first person to be told by the gods that a flood was coming and then build a boat and put one of each kind of animal in his boat along with his family and yada, yada, yada. But actually, there are much, much older myths that the Bible took these stories from. Like many other stories in the Bible, by the way. Almost all of them are either Babylonian, Sumerian, Akkadian. Someone mentioned Utnapishtim as the ancestor story. You're right, Utnapishtim is one of them. And Utnapishtim is based on Zarathustra and Atrahasis. Just a second, I get this man's name. What was man's name? Ziusudra. Utnapishtim is an ancestor story of Noah's Ark, And Ziusudra is an ancestor story of Utnapishtim. Ziusudra's story is about a king that really did exist. He was the last king before the great flood in Mesopotamia, a river flood that is scientifically attested for. The story of Ziusudra is the closest to this actual happening, this real live river flood. In the Mesopotamian myth, the gods are angry because humans are noisy. They want silence on the earth, and they decide to just wipe it clean. But Enki, the god Enki, same Enki from the myth of Inanna, warns Ziusudra, who's a king of the city-state Shuruppak. He warns him to build a large boat. In this story, a storm rages for 7 days and 7 nights, and the huge boat gets tossed across the waters. When the sun appears, finally, Ziusudra is able to open the windows. In Ziusudra's story and Utnapishtim, after he has survived the flood, Enki and Ea and the whole assembly of gods decide to give Ziusudra or Utnapishtim eternal life. The difference here being that Noah got to live for 900 years. One comment I got a lot on my Lucifer video, where I say that there's no capital S Satan or devil in the Old Testament, because there isn't. A comment that I got a lot of was people saying, it'd be cool if I disappeared right now. Can I ask you a question? You just did. So wait, you're atheistic? No. Can we do a poem? Bonnie, you know we can. You know I'm ready with the poems. Miss you forever. Even if forever never really wanted to stay. Alright, let's go. This is Lady Lazarus by Sylvia Plath. I have done it again. Once in every 10, I manage it. A sort of walking miracle. My skin bright as a Nazi lampshade. My right foot a paperweight. My face a featureless fine Jew linen. Peel off the napkin, O my enemy. Do I terrify? The nose, the eye pits, the full set of teeth. The sour breath will vanish in a day. Soon. Soon the flesh, the grave cave 8 will be at home on me, and I, a smiling woman. I am only 30, and like the cat, I have 9 times to die. This is number 3. What a trash to annihilate each decade. What a million filaments the peanut-crunching crowd shoves in to see them unwrap me hand and foot. The big striptease. Gentlemen, ladies, these are my hands, my knees. I may be skin and bone. Nevertheless, I am the same identical woman. The first time it happened, I was 10. It was an accident. The second time, I meant to last it out and not come back at all. I rocked shut as a seashell. They had to call and pick the worms off me like sticky pearls. Dying is an art like anything else. I do it exceptionally well. I do it so it feels like hell. I do it so it feels real. I guess you could say I have a call. It's easy enough to do it in a cell. It's easy enough to do it and stay put. It's the theatrical comeback in broad day to the same place, the same face, the same brute, amused shout. A miracle! That knocks me out. There is a charge for the eyeing of my scars. There is a charge for the hearing of my heart. It really goes. And there is a charge, a very large charge, for a word or a touch or a bit of blood or a piece of my hair on my clothes. So, doctor, so, enemy, I am your opus. I am your valuable, the pure gold baby that melts to a shriek. I turn and burn. Do not think I underestimate your great concern. Ash, you poke and stir. Flesh, bone, there is nothing there. A cake of soap, a wedding ring, a gold filling. God, Lucifer, beware, beware. Out of the ash, I rise with my red hair, and I eat men like air. This is the poetry of our world. It's a poetry anthology of poetry from all around the world. Here's one by Anna Akhmatova. She is a Russian poet of the early modern times, early 1900s. Who is preaching in here? You read her? That's awesome. Let's do this. This is called Cleopatra. My cat opening my roommate's door right now while he's away. She had already kissed Antony's dead lips. She had already wept on her knees before Caesar, and her servants had betrayed her. Darkness falls. The trumpets of the Roman eagle scream. And in comes the last man to be ravished by her beauty. Such a tall gallant, with a shame-faced whisper, you must walk before him as a slave in the triumph. But the slope of her swan's neck is tranquil as ever. Tomorrow, they'll put her children in chains. Nothing remains except to tease this fellow out of his mind and put the black snake, like a parting act of pity, on her dark breast with indifferent hand. Isn't it so good? How do we feel about Mahmoud Darwish? This one is called On Our Last Evening on This Land. It is about the great expulsion in 1948 of the Palestinian population by the Zionist army. At this point, still just like a terror army, right before the state had been established, the state of Israel. Thank you guys so much for the gifts. On our last evening on this land, we chop our days from our young trees. Count the ribs we'll take with us, and the ribs we'll leave behind. On the last evening, we bid nothing farewell, nor find the time to end. Everything remains as it is. It is the place that changes our dreams and its visitors. Suddenly, we're incapable of irony. This land will now host atoms of dust. Here, On our last evening, we looked closely at the mountains besieging the clouds, a conquest and a counter-conquest, and an old time handing this new time the keys to our doors. So enter our houses, O conquerors, and drink the wine of our mellifluous muasha. We are the night at midnight, and no horseman will bring dawn from the sanctuary of the last call to prayer. Our tea is green and hot. Drink it. Our pistachios are fresh. Eat them. The beds are of a green cedar. Fall on them, following this long siege. Lie down on the feathers of our dreams. The sheets are crisp. Perfumes are ready by the door, and there are plenty of mirrors. Enter them so we may exit completely. Soon, we will search in the margins of your history in distant countries for what was once our history. And in the end, we will ask ourselves, was Andalusia here or there? On the land? Or just in this poem? That almost made me cry. Poetry is truly so powerful. So powerful. Words can change the world. To me, poetry is the closest that language gets to telling the truth. Everything else is just jargon, including this, what I'm saying. Here's a poem by Robert Lowell called History. History has to live with what was here, clutching and close to fumbling all we had. It is so dull and gruesome how we die. Unlike writing, life never finishes. Abel was finished. Death is not remote. A flash in the pen electrifies the skeptic. His cows crowding like skulls against high voltage wire. His baby crying all night like a new machine. As in our Bibles, white-faced and predatory, the beautiful mist-drunken hunter's moon ascends. A child could give it a face. Two holes, my eyes, my mouth, between them a skull's no nose. Oh, there is a terrifying innocence in my face, drenched with the silver salvage of the morn frost. Do you have a good recommendation for a good poetry book? Well, I really like poetry anthologies that collect, like that have collections of poems, like from several authors in them. This is a really good one. The Poetry of Our World. The Norton anthologies are really good. The Norton Anthology of Poetry and Literature. Why do you have so many bot accounts? Because I'm so popular, bro. So popular. I adore Charles Bukowski. Let's read something by Bukowski. The Bluebird. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke, and the whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he's in there. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out. But I'm too tough for him. I say, stay down. Do you want to mess me up? Do you want to screw up the works? You want to blow my book sales in Europe? There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out. But I'm too clever. I only let him out at night sometimes, when everybody's asleep. I say, I know that you're there, so don't be sad. And then I put him back. But he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die. And we sleep together like that, with our secret pact. And it's nice enough to make a man weep. But I don't weep. Do you? Only when no one's looking. Aww. Yeah, that one hits. That one really hits. And I love the end. I love the way I love the femininity and masculinity that's being brought together in the poem, and the way he's struggling with his femininity and with his masculinity, because his masculinity is what's silencing him. And I just love the ending because he finds that refuge in his manlyhood and in his masculinity. Bukowski is immature. Did you know him personally? I'm guessing you did to make that kind of character judgment. The Dice Player by Mahmoud Darwish. You guys ready? The Dice Player is a trip. Who am I to say to you what I say to you? I was not a stone polished by water and became a face, nor was I a cane punctured by the wind and became a flute. I am a dice player. Sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. I am like you, or slightly less. I was born next to the well, next to the 3 lonely trees, lonely like the nuns, born without a celebration and without a midwife. I was named by chance and belonged to a family by chance and inherited its features, traits, and illnesses. First, an imbalance in the arteries and high blood pressure. Second, shyness in addressing the mother, the father, and the grandmother, the tree. Third, hoping to cure from flu with a cup of hot chamomile. Fourth, laziness in talking about the gazelle and the lark. Fifth, boredom of winter nights. Sixth, a gross failure in singing. I played no role in who I became. It was by chance that I became a male, and by chance that I saw a pale moon like a lemon flirting with sleepless girls. I did not strive to find a mole in the most secret places of my body. I could have not existed. My father could have not married my mother by chance, or I could have been like my sister who screamed and then died and did not realize that she was born for only 1 hour and did not know her mother. Or like the eggs of the pigeons smashed before the chicks saw the light. It was by chance that I became a survivor in a bus accident where my school trip was delayed because I forgot existence and its conditions when I was reading a love story the night before. I impersonated the role of the author and the role of the beloved, the victim. So I became the martyr of love in the novel and the survivor in the road accident. I played no role in kidding with the sea, but I was a reckless boy. a fan of hanging around the attractiveness of water, calling me, come to me. Nor did I play any role in surviving the sea. I was rescued by a human gull who saw the waves pulling me and paralyzing my hands. I could not have been infected by the fairies of the ancient hanging poetry if the house gate was northerly, not overlooking the sea, if the army patrol did not see the village fire baking the night, had the 15 martyrs rebuilt the barricades, had that field not fallen, I could have become an olive tree, or a geography teacher, or an expert of the kingdom of ants, or a guardian of echo. Who am I to say to you what I say to you at the door of the church? And I am but a throw of a dice between a predator and a prey. I earned more awareness, not to be happy with my moonlight night, but to witness the massacre. I survived by chance. I was smaller than a military target and bigger than a bee wandering around among the flowers of the fence. I feared for my siblings and my father. I feared for a time made of glass. I feared for my cat and rabbit and for a magical moon above the high minaret of the mosque. I feared for the grapes of our vines that suspend like the breaths of our dog. Fear kept up with me, and I continued with it, barefooted, forgetting my little memories of what I wanted from tomorrow. There is no time for tomorrow. I walk, haste, run, go up, go down. I scream, bark, howl, call, wail. I go faster, slower, fall down, slow down, dry. I walk, fly, see, do not see, stumble. I become yellow, green, blue. I split, break into tears. I get thirsty, tired, hungry. I fall down, get up, run, forget. I see, do not see, remember. I hear, comprehend. I rave, hallucinate, mumble, scream. I cannot. I groan, become insane, go astray. I become less, more, fall down, go up and drop. I bleed, and I lose consciousness. I am fortunate that the wolves disappeared from there by chance or escaped from the army. I played no role in my life except when it taught me its hymns. I said, "Is there any more?" And I lit its lamp, then tried to amend it. I could have not been a swallow had the wind wished me that. And the wind is the luck of the traveler. I traveled north, east, and west, but the south was far and rebellious for me, because the south is my country. So I became a swallow metaphor, flying over my own debris, autumn and springs, baptizing my feathers with the clouds of the lake, then extending my greetings to the Nazarite who does not die, for within him is the breath of God. God is the luck of the prophet. I am fortunate that I am a divinity neighbor. It is my misfortune that the cross is the eternal ladder to our tomorrow. Who am I to say to you what I say to you? Who am I? I could have not been inspired. Inspiration is the luck of the lonely souls. The poem is a throw of dice on a board of darkness that may or may not shine, and the words fall like feathers on the sand. I play no role in the poem. I only obey its rhythm. The movements of sensations, one modifies the other, intuition that brings a meaning, unconsciousness in the echo of the words, an image of myself which is transferred from my own self to another, my relying on myself and my longing for the spring. I play no role in the poem unless the inspiration stops. Inspiration is the luck of the skill, should it strive. I could have not fallen in love with the girl who asked me, "What time is it now?" Had I not been on my way to the movies. She could have not been a heart stealer as she was, or a dark, ambiguous desire. This is how words are born. I train my heart to love so it can have room for roses and thorns. My vocabularies are mystical. My desires are sensible. I am not who I am now unless these two meet, I and my feminine I. Oh, love, what are you? How much are you what you are and what you are not? Oh, love, blow on us thunderstorms to become what you love for us, a divine solution to the physical, and flow into an estuary of two sides. You, visible or invisible, have no form. We love you when we love by chance. You are the luck of the poor. It is my misfortune that I repeatedly survived the dying of love. And I am fortunate that I am still fragile to enter into the experiment again. The expert lover says in his secret, love is our sincere lie. And when his lover hears that, she says, love comes and goes as lightning and thunderstorms. To life, I say slow down, wait for me, until the drunkenness dries from my glass. There are communal roses in the garden, and air cannot escape the rose. Wait for me, so the nightingale does not escape, and I do not make a mistake in the rhythm. In the square, the minstrels tighten the strings of their instruments for the farewell song. Slow down, be brief, so the song will not last long and the cadence does not interrupt the preludes, which is bilateral and has a unilateral finale. Long live life. Take your time. Hold me, so the wind will not scatter me around. Even riding the wind, I cannot escape the alphabets. If I did not stand on a mountain, I would have been happy with an eagle hermitage. No light is higher, but such glory, crowned with an infinite blue gold, is hard to visit. The lonely there remains lonely, and he cannot disembark on his feet. The eagle cannot walk, nor can the human fly. Oh, what a summit that looks like an abyss. Oh, you, high mountain solitude, I have no role in what I became or will become. It is luck, and luck has no name. We might call it the blacksmith of our fates. Call it the sky mail carrier. Call it the carpenter of the newborn's crib and the coffin of the deceased. or call it the custodian of gods and legends in which we wrote the texts for them and hid behind the Olympic. The hungry pottery vendors believed them, but the satiated gold masters did not believe. It is the misfortune of the author that fantasy is reality on theater floors. Behind the scenes, matter differs. The question is not when, but why, how, and who. Who am I to say to you what I say to you? I could have not existed, and the caravan could have fallen in an ambush, and the family could have lost a son, the one who is writing this poem, character by character, bleeding and bleeding on this sofa with black blood, not a crow ink or its voice, but the whole night, squeezed drop by drop in the hands of luck and talent. Poetry could have earned more if he was not, no one else, a hoopoe on the brink of an abyss. Perhaps, he said, if I was someone else, I would become me once again. This is how I bluff. Narcissus is not as beautiful as he thought. His makers entangled him with a mirror. He prolonged his meditation in the air distilled with water. Had he been able to see others, he would have loved the girl gazing at him. Oblivious, the reindeers running between the lilies and the daisies, had he been a bit more clever, he would have broken his mirror and saw how much he was the others. Had he been free, he would have not become a legend. Mirage is the traveler's book in the desert. Without it, without the mirage, he would not continue walking in search of water. He says, this is a cloud, and carries a jug of hope in one hand and with the other hand on his waist, beating on the sand to collect the clouds in a hole. The mirage calls on him, seduces him, deceives him, and lifts him up. Read if you can. Write if you can. He reads water, 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 and water. He writes a line on the sand. If it was not for the mirage, I would have not been alive until now. It is fortunate for the traveler that hope is the twin of despair. Or his improvised poetry. When the sky appears gray and I see a rose suddenly grew from the cracks of a wall, I do not say the sky is gray, but I contemplate the rose and say to it, what a beautiful day. For two of my friends I say at the entrance of night, if it had to be a dream, let it be like us. Simple. Like dining together after 2 days, the three of us, celebrating the truthfulness of prophecy of our dream, that the three of us did not lose one for 2 days. Let us celebrate the sonata of the moon and the tolerance of death, that when it saw us happy together, it reconsidered. I do not say life out there is real with fantastic places. Rather, I say here, life is possible. By chance, the land became a holy land. Not because of its lakes, hills, and trees are duplicates of a higher paradise, but because a prophet walked here, prayed on a rock, and it wept, and the hill fell unconscious from the fear of God. By chance, a slope of a field in a country became a museum of dust, because thousands of soldiers died here from the two sides in defense of the two leaders who said go, waiting for the spoils of war in their silk tents on the two sides. Soldiers die repeatedly, not knowing until now who was victorious. By chance, some narrators lived and said, if others were victorious upon others, our humankind history would have had other titles. I love you, green. O green land, an apple ripples in light and water green. Your night is green, your dawn is green. Plant me gently, as gentle as a mother's hand in a handful of air. I am a seed of your green seeds. That poem does not have one poet. It could have not been made lyrical. Who am I to say to you what I say to you? I could have not been who I am. I could have not been here. The plane could have crashed that morning with me on board. I am lucky that I am a morning sleeper and was late for the plane. I could have not seen Damascus or Cairo or the Louvre or the magical cities had I been a slow walker. The rifle could have cut off my shadow from the sleepless cedar. Had I been a fast walker, I could have been hit by a shrapnel and become a passing notion. Had I been an excessive dreamer, I could have lost my memory. I am fortunate that I sleep alone and can listen to my body and believe in my talent in discovering pain and call on the doctor 10 minutes before death. 10 minutes is enough to live by chance and disappoint the nothingness. But who am I to disappoint the nothingness? Who am I? Who am I? Wow. That was intense. Whew. My own mind is blown right now. I went on a trip. That was an out-of-body experience. That was a spectacular poem. I'm for sure going to share this on the Discord. Every single stanza had something to offer. Yadra. I am still coming back. Mahmoud Darwish is a fantastic poet. Yeah, the Discord is our community. If you're looking for me, you'll find me in the Discord, most likely. And if you don't find me, you'll find a whole bunch of other awesome people. Someone said, what did you think of all the Elon Musk comments? You mean on my Elon Musk confidence video, right? Honestly, I was expecting more. Yeah, it was a little underwhelming. I was expecting more outrage. But then again, like most of you guys, most of the people in the community and people who follow me are pretty sensible people. What religion did you grow up with? The religion of my father always being right. That's my religion too, she said. Probably so many of us. Your Bible descriptions are ignorant. Capital ignorant. You know somebody is confident about what they're saying when they use caps lock. You're risking your afterlife? Not me, already had an afterlife. Do you believe we were born with our karmic family? Honestly, my beliefs are probably something closer to what Mahmoud Darwish described for us in The Dice Player. I played no role in who I became, and it was by chance that I am here. What is Jungian dream theory and why did you choose to study it? It's a way of approaching dream symbolism, the realm of the unconscious, using symbolism and a somewhat more archetypal, literary, symbolic, and hermetically based association system to interpreting imagery that arises spontaneously out of the unconscious. I chose to study it because that's really interesting. I want to understand human beings. I want to understand why we do what we do. What can we do better? And I had psychotic breaks from very early on, ages like 7, 9, 13. I wanted to help myself in a holistic way rather than a diagnostic, cold system. That's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. What does a psychotic break look like? From the outside, I don't know. From the inside, it feels like there is a very dark, dense ball of fire and fury and howling, all condensed and trapped somewhere beneath your guts. And no effort in the world, no matter how loud you scream or how deep your breath, you can never really touch it. And you can never really let it out. And that makes everything you do a lie. Because something is trying to be expressed, but it has no avenue for escape. And it's like your face isn't your face. It's a mask. But it won't come off. And the only way to take it off is to die. Oh my gosh, it's 9 o'clock already. I think it's time for us to say goodbye. I love you guys so much. If you haven't already, come join our Discord. Go to my website, twitchy-rich.com. Click the Discord link. Come hang out with us. You guys are awesome. This is a lot of fun. Thanks for the prompts and the poems. Have a great night.